Bridget McCormack's baptismal record shows a birth date of 1850. Her mother was Margaret Callahan, her father, Thomas McCormack. She was born in the Dundalk workhouse, and she grew up in that merciless system. She remained an illiterate and impoverished person for most of her early life. She married, but nothing is known about the union. Did love enter into it? A marriage enforced? No dates. He has no name. Her husband? A soldier, a farmer, a tradesman? Did he die at war, of illness, or did he abandon her? Her anonymity ended in 1880. Bridget McCormack married Myrta O'Hare in 1880. A second marriage. He was a bill sticker by profession. It was his second marriage, too. The notorious Myrty was already known to the courts. Within weeks of the marriage, Bridget had left him and became, in effect, a vagrant, and from 1880 onwards, she comes into increasing conflict with the authorities. The feminine ideal was constructed around a woman's position within the family. Those women who did not conform to this notion, especially separated married women, were considered deviant. Individuals merely need to exhibit the characteristics or stereotypes of vagrants for authorities to make an arrest. Vagrancy Ireland Act, 1847. Still in effect in 2025. They were dangerous and subversive. Vagrants were the epitome of the undeserving poor, people who could work but chose not to. Having opted out of settled society, vagrants represented a challenge and a threat to its culture and values. By October 1881, Bridget had become a wandering vagrant, an alcoholic, or at least at this stage an out-of-control binge drinker with extremely violent inclinations. She was arrested in Dundalk on April 7th, 1881. It took myself and two others to get her on the car, while it required two to hold her while being driven to the barrack. Sergeant McVicker, court statement. Her conduct last night was so bad, she collected a crowd of fully 300 people about her. Sergeant Nesbitt, court statement.
Your Worship, I didn't take a drop these 12 months. It's 14 months since I left town, and I came in yesterday to see my mother, who was sick, and I got a little drop. If I get away easy this time, I will never take a drop again. I live in Cooley these past 14 months, and I have a little house of my own and a patch of potatoes.
Biddy O'Hare, as reported by the Dundalk Democrat, 12 April, 1884.
But I wasn't in Dundalk for the last 14 months, and during that time I didn't take a drop. I had the pledge, and I came into town to see my poor old mother who was lying sick these 2 months. I wasn't in town since that, and I have a house, and I'm living in Cooley. I joined the teetotalers since then.
Biddy O'Hare, as reported by the Dundalk Examiner and Louth Advertiser, 12th April, 1884. At a court trial, one that Bridget evaded by leaving town, the magistrate asked if Biddy the Twig was an unfortunate. An unfortunate was synonymous with a virago, a woman of bad character, a woman of abandoned character, a tramp, a dirty person, a destitute woman, a night walker, a Cyprian, a Hecate, a Paphian nymph, a street girl, a vagrant, a social pest, an unfortunate drunkard, a prostitute, a nymph of the paves. Constable Nesbitt replied, "She is." Mary Rooney, in the courtroom awaiting trial for a separate matter, shouted up, She is much worse." Being a separated married woman made all these characterizations all the more demeaning. This was the dismal direction her life was to take. Using the expansive Irish railway system of the time to travel around the counties, Bridget became known in Monaghan, Cavan, and Armagh, as well as Louth. This form of travel was used by seasonal laborers. In fact, her earliest arrest reports have listed her occupation as laborer. As time passed and criminal offenses mounted, she was eventually listed solely as pros, prostitute. She was repeatedly in and out of workhouses and prisons. She preferred the workhouse, where she could discharge herself and return afterwards. For, like seasonal workers, prostitutes also needed to move around, to escape police attention, travel county fairs, and visit garrison towns. She was reduced to becoming nothing more than a newsworthy scandal, a violent, drunken prostitute. On Monday night, the 19th of December, 1898, a railway porter saw a drunken Biddy the Twig getting onto the train at Dundalk, heading towards Bellergin. Well fit to mind herself, though, he later commented. The next day, a railway worker found her dead, broken body at an embankment just past the Bellergin station. He did not recognize her, nor did the coolie constables who attended the scene. She was eventually identified by the Dundalk railway porter, who recognized the distinctive shawl she had worn. It's possible she fell from the train. It's possible she had attempted to jump between stops. The scene was just across the road from a public house. From the school's collection, volume 0660, page 280. Recorded by Myron E. Jermida, Jenkinstown, between 1937 and 1939.
Biddy the Twig was another old traveler who used to lodge in Rice's of Riverstown. She used to get drunk very often. One day as she was returning from Dundalk in a drunken condition, she fell out of the train and was killed.